Well, hi. Today we have a new product from the people at Ridge Outdoor Gear. This is the topper for the Pinnacle line of hammocks. The topper is a product that comes in at under $25, so it makes it very, very inviting for a lot of people to try on their hammocks. What we're going to do today is we're going to try this on the original hammocks, the Pinnacles that it was designed for. Then we're going to try it on a number of other hammocks that I have here on here, and just get an idea of what it might fit on or what it might not fit on. Then you guys can look at it and figure out, do I want to take a shot at this or not? I know that it'll fit a number of hammocks out there, quite a few of them. So let's get out here on the patio and give it a shot and see what we got.
I think what we're going to do here is we're going to pick some hammocks from these two boxes full of hammocks here. And I'm going to try to go with a couple of each style that I have here. I'm going to start with the what I like to call the orange slice hammocks, which is with the what the Ridge Outdoor Gear hammocks look like. Those are the popular ones we're seeing quite often these days. To me, they just look like a slice of an orange, so I've always just called them an orange slice hammock. Then we're going to go with the ones a couple of the ones that are what I call the coffin hammocks, coffin style. They're the ones with the bug net that's suspended with a spreader bar usually, and some ropes to hold it up in the air. They just remind me of being inside a coffin. They're comfortable and nice hammocks, but they just remind me of that. Then we've got the Hennessy here in the front on the left, which you'll notice is in a red bag. How many of you guys have seen one of these in a red bag? This is actually a special design that came out for Snap-on tools back in 1999, I think it was, and they made 2,000 of these things, and they gave them to the Snap-on dealers. My Snap-on dealer, he was just way too large to fit in this thing, and he's a good friend of mine, and he gave me this hammock, and that's the one I started out with. The one on the right here is a Skyloft, and it's designed a lot like the Hennessy. It's a kind of a wide hammock. It's more shorter than most hammocks, and the bug net is not that high up. It's pretty close to your face on both of these hammocks. So we're going to try the covers on those too, and see what kind of results we get out of these things. So let's get these things together, pick the ones I want to use on it, and then we'll set them up and show you what they look like when they're all set up. Here are two examples of the original hammocks that this is designed to go on. On the right here we have the Pinnacle 360, and on the left here we have the original Pinnacle, which is now being sold as the Pinnacle 180. That thing is still priced at under $50. And the one on the right here, the 360, it's only about a $15 increase, and you get a lot of goodies for that $15. What we're going to do here now is install the cover on the one on the left here on the Pinnacle, and show you how it goes on, so you have a reference as to what you're really trying to do if you're going to try to use this on another hammock. If you get one of these hammocks, this is an introduction as to how to put it on this hammock. All right, let's get started. Let's get started by disconnecting the carabiner up here, and then slipping that loop over the beaner and down over the continuous loop there. Now, preliminary wise, you just kind of set it up and over. It's not important to exactly get this right, because we're going to press this a little later and center it. Okay, now you're going to take this first toggle, and the website shows taking the toggle and locking both of these pieces of the ribbon behind it. What I like to do is separate it, run some of the run it through between the two pieces of ribbon, and catch just the one. And it tends to hold it in place. This outer ribbon keeps it from slipping out. I've had, when I tried it the other way, I've had a few of them slip out on me. Okay, down here we've got, in this particular case, we have, as you can see, the ribbon is looped like so, where on the newer ones it's just pulled straight across, and it's more like this. Either way, you're just going to separate it, push the toggle through, lock it in place. And now here in the other one, we're going to do the same thing as we did up front. And then we're going to just set it up like so, and then we're going to dress it. Let's move this thing back. And there you have it. It's pretty easy to do. Now, on this particular hammock, we've got little spots for the toggles to go into that are designed to match the overcover here, the top cover, and such. But when you get some of these other hammocks that we're going to try, this stuff's not going to be there. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how to keep this stuff in place, because it's important that this stuff doesn't blow around in the evening. You want to keep it down. A lot of times you're going to be using it as a windbreak, as well as a heat retention item. The heat retention on these things is amazing. I know that the bug net itself, in my case, usually is about 4 to 5 degrees heat retention. When I put an overcover on my hammock, I get an additional 10, 12 degrees out of the things. We've had some amazing results using these covers. And it's going to vary by person and by hammock and by materials, and of course outside conditions too. But you know, when it gets cold, every little degree makes a difference. Yeah, let's take one more quick look through. I'm going to look on the 360 version. Now you can see here that I have changed the ends here, the closed loops from the original ones that were on there, and I did that on the 180 over here also. Slides down, it's a very nice fit. We've got a very nice vent here, and the vent on the other end is just as nice. It's sizable and gets some airflow inside. Very good fit for that. The material matches exactly the same material as the base on this particular one. And here we are on the other end. It's a very nice arrangement. It's easy to put on and stows away very small. And I think it's going to be something that can be used on a number of hammocks. We're going to find out in a minute. All right, on hammocks like this that don't have, this one has one pull out here, and you could probably do that, but it's kind of way off center. For those who don't have pull-outs or any anchor points, here's what I do. Take a length of shock cord, or you could use a paracord or what have you. I like the shock cord because it stretches and won't tear. You take it and run it through. Now you've got a good anchor. Now you can do that if you get it fitted properly, and you're only going to use it on the one hammock. You get it fitted properly, and you can do this on both ends, and it'll always be the same. If you're going to be using them on various hammocks, or you want something more adjustable, what I do is I'll use a cord lock here and cinch it up. And then you can adjust it by pushing the cord lock in and sliding this thing up or down, what have you, and it will stay. You can even do this on both ends if you want. So there'll be no knots to be tied. All right, the hammock we're dealing with here is the bat hammock from Etrol. As you can see, it is an ASIM hammock with a head left, feet right. Now I sleep the opposite direction, so this hammock is, even as much as I like this hammock, it's not too usable for me. I have slept in a number of nights, but because it's asymmetrical in the wrong direction, it's not going to get much use out of it. But you can see they do fit. Now it will fit, and it fits pretty nice. Now up here, what I had to do with it was, instead of running it down over here on this particular hammock, it's a 10-foot hammock, I was able to attach it up here in this area here. Put it on the carabiner. And we're on the carabiner on the other end. Now, keep in mind that even though it's 10 foot, you got to realize that these are going to be various lengths, and that's where a lot of the difference is going to be on a 10-foot hammock. You may have some, like this one here is a 10 foot, and I actually had to do it differently. But that's the first of the orange slice hammocks. And let's move on over to this one here. Now this one here is pretty much generic. This is the hammock. This is a hammock that has the ridge line that was a shock cord, kind of an elasticated ridge line on it. A lot of different companies are selling the same hammock with their name on it, but it's basically the same hammock. Now I've changed the ridge line on this and made it a full ridge line, and it's a sturdy one, and it's structural. But over here you can see that this is longer than it was on the bad hammock. So what I had to do, let me get this back in position here. What I ended up having to do was put a mini carabiner on it and clip it on partially up the continuous loop. And the same with over here. Now, what you could do is, if you're going to put this on, change your continuous loop to something with a smaller one. This is probably about a 10-inch continuous loop. An 8-inch would have been just fine. It would have brought us right in here. As for the rest of it, fits it pretty nicely, as you can see. This one does not have any pull-outs that can be used. It does have a pull-out right in the middle, and it's not going to be too usable unless you were to add something here, but you don't want to be doing that. The objective of this is to try to just take this out of the box and use it. So in this one here, I wouldn't be too concerned about the higher ones, but the two main ones underneath would be where I would be putting the shock cord or paracord or whatever you decided to use under there. Again, shock cord's your best bet because it'll stretch for you, and adjustable to me is the best way to go. However, use your own taste. Now let's get some of the others out here and we'll take a look at those. Right here we have the Laden Hammock. This is a hammock you're going to find common to a lot of hammocks that are available out there today and have been for some time. Basically badge engineered hammock made in mass production, and people slap their own names on it. But as you see, it sort of fits it. You have to be creative with some of these things, but it sort of does fit it. This thing is an 8.5 foot hammock, and we had to actually take and attach this way out here, put another beaner on it, and bring it higher up on the daisy chain to get it to fit. A lot of ventilation in here, so the thing is if you try and do it for the heat, retention, it may not work. But you can see what I've got here, and it seems to be holding pretty well. I would think that this particular hammock would not fare well to this kind of cover. I did a video, which I'll link down below, that I called the turnover cover, where I take a regular hammock and pull the suspension out of the ends of it and everything, the closed loops and all, and put something else in there, and then use this same structure down below to hold it in place, and it fits over better. But I'll have a link at the bottom of this video to show you, to direct you to it. You can take a look at that video if you're going to use this kind of hammock and you want to put a cover over it. Now, this one here is another one I've got, and this one is a 10-foot hammock. I take that back. No, it's a 9-foot hammock. And here, to get it to fit, we had to be a little creative again. And I've locked-headed basically a hair tie, rubberized elasticized hair tie on there, and that gets it up there. The problem with it, it doesn't fit very well. You can see it's mostly open, so no, again, this is not going to work on this. If you're creative and you want to play with it enough, you probably could get it to fit somewhat decent. But again, I refer you to that other video I did, and that'll tell you, give you a better choice for this kind of option. All right, here's one for you. This is what I call a tube type hammock. It's the one with the instant pop-up bug net, and people named Traveler make it, and a lot of other companies buy it from them and put their names on them too. Want to see if this thing will fit this. And amazingly, it sort of does. It sort of does fit on there. You can possibly get it on it. Now this is a an 8.5 foot hammock, so in the various sizes of them, there's some that are larger, some that are smaller. Size is going to matter, but on this particular one, it does fit right in there. This is where all the venting would be. You can see all the venting here. And it's the same on the other side over there. Down here, these things will just slide right underneath and put those straps under and hold it in place. Now here's one for you. This is just a conventional gathered in hammock. And as long as you have a ridge line, it's going to fit. This is an 11 footer. And as you can see, it wants to fit it. Again, we're going to have to use the straps underneath. And Ridge Outdoors has a hammock that is just the hammock without the netting, and their site says that it doesn't fit, and it's probably because it doesn't have the little pull-outs and what have you on it. But if you were to use it like this and put the straps underneath, I think it would fit that one too. Now inside would be the question as to, without having the bug net in there to hold it in place, would it hang in on you? Let's see. Let me get inside and we'll see what we can find. Well, this may not be the optimum setup. It probably could do the job. It doesn't seem like they're hanging in too much on you. Right here by my head, it kind of is. So on this one here, you'd probably have to use the straps all the way up it. So you have 4 straps underneath it. But you can see it wants to stay up. So yeah, a little creativity, this will work on here too. All right, we're down to the last two, and this is the Hennessy. As I told you about the snap-on and the red tarp and everything on it, I just hung it up there so you guys could have a look at it and get a gander at what it looks like. Let me take this off of there and we'll get going on the inspections. All right, this is the Hennessy Expedition 2.5. This is a symmetrical hammock. It is not asim. And we're going to slip the cover over it and see how the cover works on it. Now, as you can see, it fits pretty well. A couple straps under the bottom there is going to hold it all in place. This particular hammock is a bottom entry, or the birth canal type entry, as I like to call it. And I can see that the strap underneath might get in your way getting in and out, but shouldn't be too much of an issue because it's towards the very end of the slit. So it looks like it'll work. Looks like it'll work fine on this particular hammock. Now over here we have East Hills Outdoors' newest hammock. And this is their Skyloft. It's a very nice looking hammock. It's a fairly comfortable hammock. It's a 10 footer. That Hennessy was 8.5 foot long is all that one was. That's a pretty small hammock. So this one's like the Hennessy but with a little bit more room in it. This is an asim, and it's a asim with the head right, feet left, so it's perfect for my liking and such. Now let's see how this cover fits on this. So as you see, the cover fits fine. All right, as you can see, I had to modify this a little bit to get this to fit. Put a mini carabiner on it, tacked it into the line up there. There's going to be an issue with this, though, because the venting is going to be a problem. If you look right here, we got a shroud here that shrouds the upper end of the hammock here, and the shrouding coincides with the ending of the venting. So we're getting maybe an inch or so of venting here, and about the same here, maybe a little bit more here because I have it set a little lower in this end. Now, if venting's a big issue, and it's going to most likely be for most of us, I would say that this is not going to be the ideal setup for that particular hammock. So that basically concludes the hammocks that I'm going to go through, and such. We have possibility of some others that I may mention as I do a little bit more research on it and such before I finish this video. But let's get these things down, and let's get inside and let's talk about it.
Okay, before we close this out, let's get some measurements here so that if you have a hammock and wonder if this is going to fit, you can take the measurements from where they are and then transpose them over to your hammock to see if it's going to hold up. Okay, we've got 102 inches for the full length of this thing from end to end. We're looking at 15 inches for the venting. From the peak to the first tie out, we've got 18 inches. And there's 21 inches between the second and the bottom one here. We're looking at 40 inches between the bottom ones here. And this thing is 25 inches at the halfway point, which makes it 50 inches total. So that ought to help you some. You can take those measurements and use them, transpose them onto your hammock, and know whether or not this is going to fit or be close to what you presently have.
When not in use, you can just bundle it up on the top up here and just leave it there.
Well, I hope that was helpful to some of you guys. Not a bad item, but it looks like the orange wedge or the orange slice hammocks are the only ones that are going to be able to benefit from the use of this product. For those of you who have the odd-shaped hammocks that this isn't going to work on, I'll leave a link down below to a video I did on a thing called turnover hammock cover, and it'll probably be something you might be interested in. But this does work on other hammocks, I do know that. One fellow YouTuber and friend of mine, Marshall, from Chesapeake Hammock Outdoors, he bought one of these after seeing my last video on it, and he actually used it on his hammock gear hammock. And he did a video on it, and looking at the video, it looks like it's a good match. So I'll leave a link to his video below for you. Lastly, I want to thank the good people at Ridge Outdoor Gear for providing this product today so I could present it to you. The company is a company that prides itself in quality, prides itself in having reasonable prices, and they're also pretty proud of the fact that they listen to us. This was an idea that some of us had come up with, and they listened to it. And next thing you know, it's on the market. So if you have ideas, let them know about it. Now, coming up next, or possibly next, one of the very next videos that will be coming up in the near future, will be another product from the good people at Ridge Outdoor Gear. They're going to send me an underquilt that they have that comes in at under $50. It is a 3-season quilt that has a rating of 45 degrees, and based on the products I've seen of theirs in the past, I would be surprised if it's a winner. It's designed to work on a number of hammocks. It's not going to just be for their hammock. So we'll get that one and take a look at it and maybe even try it on a few different hammocks to see how it works. Anyhow, until then, thanks for dropping by, and we'll see you next time around.